Good afternoon, and welcome back to The Siege, and with that, the Golden Molehill Awards of 2022. Welcome back, folks, and hello. The only award show which really matters on the internet, because as you know, my top 5 games of 2022 are perfect. There is nothing personal about it, and this is all objectively. And of course, Jeff Keighley has nothing on me because I do the real award show. He just copied it from me years ago. Yes. And if you think I really mean that, well, then you're new to the channel. Welcome in. Welcome in, because, well, that's all bad sarcasm on my end. I'm drugged up. Yep. I am totally drugged up. If you're wondering, wow, he looks a little bit out of it. Oh yeah, I am. Not only did I get a bad cough, which I kind of suppress right now, I also feel like shit, and I got a slight fever overnight. So the cold is moving relentlessly, and I throw everything I have against it, and I'm failing at that. So yeah, I drugged myself up to the point where I can do this. This is why we are actually doing it today and not tomorrow, because tomorrow I fear I will be out. Tomorrow I really feel like I will be out. My voice will be completely gone, and I can just like throw all of this, like just what I have here, like I'm drugging all myself up. I don't even have half of the stuff I have inside of me right now here on the screen. It's back in the bathroom, and I know that sounds kinky and wrong, but that's not what I meant. Sending soup. You will laugh, but I will have a self-made tomato soup with chai butter bread after we are done here. And probably some grilled cheese sandwich on top of it. Yes, I will sin. And I will sin to make my body feel better. Yes. Oh, it arrived so fast? Yeah, it's magic. It's magic. It's great what you can send quickly today in the age of internet. You just need a good connection, and then you're good to go. Well, hey Tarts, hey Tiny, and hello there everyone else looking in the shadows. We have a lot to cover today. So, what are we doing? If this is your first time, welcome to the Golden Molehill Awards, which we are giving out every year. So we are talking about my top 5 games of said year. This is highly objective. There is no thingy here, right? I'm not subjective and all that, and yeah. No, like we're talking about my top 5 games of the year. Then we are talking about the shittiest company of the year, as we always do. And man, did we had a lot of contenders this year. Like, let me tell you, the best. Like, it was so many companies just throw themselves into the ring. I was nearly as much companies that I could just start a battle royale. That's how close I was. That's how close I was. So many contenders for the shittiest company of the year. Pretty proud of that. Thank you for all the participants. But as always, there can only be one. There can only be one. And it was a tough decision. Like, maybe I should also put in my top 5 category of the shittiest companies of that year, because it seems like more and more companies seems to be taking a liking at that new category, and they're like, shoot man, I want to be nominated. I want to win an award. And yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Spoiler, it is not Twitter, because unfortunately Twitter has not much to do with gaming companies. And so, but if Jeff Keighley can just throw in awards whenever he wants, I want to give another Turd Hill or more award to Elon Musk, and just being the shittiest person on the planet right now, or one of the shittiest for sure. And he is also very loud about it. So congratulations, man. You're not just an idiot, but you're a loud idiot. So congrats to the Loud Idiot Award. You earned it. But we will also talk about the future of gaming and what can we expect in 2023. Or, well, what should we expect if they're not postponing everything again? That was one of the biggest issues for this year. Like, I always have a list at the beginning of the year of like those games which I'm planning into my channel, which I just want to check out, which I want to stream, which I want maybe to take for a spin on my main channel, right? Like those are the things I'm contemplating at the beginning of the year, and I have a list of that. And I just basically put that list up and was looking at it and was like, okay, so what did actually came to pass this year? And the reality is, well, not much, to say the least. Not much. This year was a gaming disappointment. Yeah, I can safely say that. And then we are talking about the future of this channel, the future of YouTube Gaming. If you've missed it, YouTube Gaming had a huge AMA yesterday where they were actually talking about what they have planned in the next few months, and it's a biggin. It's a biggin. There was actually quite of substantial information about what is coming to this platform, and small spoiler here, they made it pretty clear that they are out for Twitch's blood. They didn't say it like that, but the intentions of the things which are now coming, they want that market share, and they want a big chunk of it. So things are apparently coming, and we will go into detail about that when we are talking about the channel's future. What else? So a few smaller things before we are jumping immediately into the top 5 games. As you know, this always takes a while, and we will sit here for the next few hours just talking. My voice is already very happy about that decision. When I told my voice, hey, you would definitely talk like for 2-3 hours straight. You like that? Yeah? Okay, cool. I'm glad that you're enjoying that. And my voice is like, please. Stop. Please. Let me live. I was a good voice. And it's like, yeah. So prepare your butts. 2 things before we jump into the top 5 games. The first thing is I started to play a new game, which I cannot talk about, unfortunately. I put a little teaser on the Twitter. If you want to take a look at the screenshot, it's very spoilery. You should be warned. There is a lot. Let me actually show you this little teaser of the game I'm playing right now. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, this is the screenshot. I hope you enjoy the vista. It's pretty beautiful. And yeah, you can actually see a little bit of the game in the screenshot if you're squinting your eyes. It hopefully doesn't give too much away. It's right here if you have missed it. Yeah. It's very pretty. I love the different color directions. Yeah. I love the different color directions they took here, and it's great. Amazing gameplay, yeah. No, the reality is this is under complete NDA. I cannot really talk about it at all, not even mention it. But I can definitely say you will see more of this next year on my channel, and it will be a big one. It would be a big one. Yep. It would be a big one. That's for sure. So, that's a good thing. All right, the second thing, and this is actually something which is kind of important for the top 5 games of the year. I do not take early access games. I have to put this out here because I know that the Game Awards are now doing that bullshit, right? That they're taking in the early access games before they even come out, and I cannot do that. I cannot do that. I think they did it last year with Valheim, and I'm just like, no, I'm sorry. That is a no. We're not doing that here on the channel. There is no early access game in the competitor or in the competition, and I wait always for the release, because if I would allow early access games, Valheim would have definitely won some stuff last year. Last Epoch would have won several years ago. Cosmotier, holy shit, I have now over 100 hours in Cosmotier, and I'm still enjoying the hell out of that game. And I would have probably crowned it one of my top 5 games of this year. But the reality is, I don't do that. Because early access means the game is not out, there's tons of features missing, and the game could become even better. And more importantly, as we have seen with Valheim a little bit, the game died down. Did they now release Mistlands? Yeah, they did. But that was nearly 2 years ago. Nearly 2 years ago, when they released the latest content. And it's just like, I can't do it. I can't justify it. And I had too many games, early access games, which I first thought, oh my gosh, this would be fantastic. And then I realized very quickly that it takes far too long till they are releasing it. And sometimes it's not great. It dies down. Like Subnautica. Hey, don't get me wrong. I love Subnautica, even though I also hate it. And I piss my pants whenever I play it. But the reality is, it was fully released, right? And it came in early access, and it stayed in early access for quite some time. Or another game I really loved, and this game, they gave completely up on it, was Staxel. Staxel was another game I was really looking forward to. It was in early access for so long, and it never got released, right? It just died, which is really unfortunate. Like, just to make it clear for everyone wondering why I do not take early access games into my consideration, is because too much can happen, and too many good things or too many bad things can just happen to the game. That's just all. So, with that said, let's talk about the top 5 games of 2022. And I want to make something very, very clear before we are jumping into the top 5 games. I don't really have top 1 games, top 2 game, top 3 game. I don't really do that because it's highly subjective, and every single game I will mention here has a right to be in the top 5s. And I'm going by release date. I'm going by release date. So if you were wondering, like, okay, why does he mention why does he mention this game earlier? And it's like, no. The answer is pretty simple, because, you know, release dates, just release dates, right? That's what we have. So every single game I will mention and I will talk about is, in my opinion, one of the top games of this year, and you should not miss out on it. It's as simple as that. Like, if somebody asks me, what are the games, the 5 games I should probably play from this year, those are it. Yep. So, with that said, let's talk about the first game, which, funny enough, did go into early access earlier this year, or actually by the end of last year, and was released just a few weeks ago into a full release. And that is a game which was overlooked by a lot of shows. Because they were like, you know? And that is, of course, Vampire Survivors. Yes. Vampire Survivors was one of the games which came out and was just absolutely fantastic. Like a crazy game nobody really had on its list. And you look at it and you think, man, you know what? This game, what is this? This looks shit. This looks boring. You're walking around, you're collecting stuff, you're clicking things, and then things are happening on the screen. And you know what? Yeah. That's what, like, if somebody wants an explanation of the game and they're wondering, like, hey, what is this game? Well, you're walking around, you're collecting crystals which give you levels, then you're choosing the weapons of your choice, and you try to survive for 30 minutes. Wait, that's it? Yeah! That's it. That's the gameplay. That's what you're doing. Yeah, there are some mysteries, of course. There's some Easter eggs and all that you can do. But in general, that's what you're doing in this game. But with that said, it is an amazing game. Why? Because nobody has really ever done this, what you were doing here. Like, collecting the XP and collecting the right weapons and the right upgrades to then later on transform the weapons so they become even more powerful and become something different. Like, they have basically a pretty great slogan for this game, and I think it rings true, is become the bullet hell. You know how you normally in bullet hells have to dodge all the attacks? from bosses, and you are basically the boss in this game. You are the bullet hell. And sure, it starts out pretty slow, but later on, like, there's so many effects going on, and so many cool stuff is just happening, right? That it's just pure fun. It's pure fun, and it's one of those games where you think, oh, come on, one more round. One more round. Just one more. Yeah, come on, another one. And then, before you even noticed, you were looking up again, it's like, wait, what do you mean it's already midnight? What? Or it's already the next day. What? What's going on here? Right? It is this game is crack. This game is pure crack. It makes you addicted without even you noticing that you are getting addicted. And you want more of it. And as somebody who might have never played this game, you might not even understand why the person is getting addicted. You know? It's this, wait, why does everyone love this game so much? Hell, there was my thinking when I first saw it, when like another streamer was playing it and I was seeing it and I was like, what is this game? What? Why are people going crazy about this? And then I jumped onto it, and it's just, oh shit, I'm hooked. Yeah, it is really one of those games which doesn't look super interesting and fun. But holy moly, the moment you play it, you will love this game. And it will sink their teeth in. Vampire pun not intended. It's crazy. It's an absolutely fantastic game, and it was made by one person, and he didn't even intend it really to release the game. Like, for him, he made this game because he wanted to have something stupid fun to play over the weekend when he doesn't really have like a lot of time. And one person in Italy made it. And then you realized, oh, okay, this game is actually not too bad. So let's release it on Steam for $2. And if somebody wants to buy it for that, cool. If nobody wants that, well, I still have my fun little game I want to play over the weekend. It's $2. Well, I think it's now $3. It's on Game Pass, if you have Game Pass, but again, it's $3. And today, they're releasing their first expansion. Yep, today is the release date of the first expansion for Vampire Survivors, and that expansion is also $2. And I'm not gonna lie here, like, I sometimes feel like I have robbed the developers. Every time I'm booting up this game and see that I put nearly 100 hours into this game, and I'm like, wait, but I only paid $3 for this. How can I give you more money, please? And the answer is, well, today is an expansion coming out which costs $2. The problem is, I'm not just giving them $2, they're actually giving me new map, new weapons, new characters, and I will feel bad about that as well. Because for $2, that is a lot of content we are getting. And yeah, highly recommend this game. Be careful though, you will get addicted very quickly. And making yourself stop is difficult. But again, you have to play the game. You have to play the game to understand what makes it magical. It's really that good, and this is why it is one of my top 5 games of the year. So much content for such a low price, and the developer is also working closely with the community. He is listening to the community, and all in all, it's just crazy. Like, even if you don't buy the expansion, there's so much content there. As I said, I put nearly 100 hours into that game, and it's obscene. It is absolutely obscene how much content there is for a $3 price tag. Or again, if you don't want to pay that amount of money, it's on Game Pass, which is again crazy. But that brings us to the second top 5 game of the year. And this came out a little bit afterwards. And I know this game was not necessarily how to put it, was not necessarily liked by my community too much to watch it, but I had an absolutely blast with it, and that was, of course, in my eyes, one of the best games of this decade. Yes, decade. Elden Ring. Elden Ring is such an insane game that I sometimes have a problem to acknowledge that it actually exists. And like, really, the moment you are into RPGs and you play this game, you will realize there is something magical in this. Something a lot of developers, I think, have tried to create over the years with their open world games, but they completely failed at that. And one of the biggest wins, and I think this will influence the gaming industry for decades to come, is the open world aspect. Open world games are not new. You could even argue that the previous Dark Souls games were partially open world games. Well, now they really did it, right? This is now a full-fledged open world game. But what they did with it and why it is, or why do I consider it so influential, is they created an open world with never-ending content. I have not seen the amount of content since Skyrim when it comes to the open world. And shit, even Skyrim does not manage to get you the open world feeling as much as Elden Ring does. How is that possible? Because they created an open world which has meaning. They didn't create a big map just for the sake of it, like Ubisoft does for years now, right? We have this huge open world game. Oh, it's 6 times bigger than Elden Ring. And then there's nothing in it. There is no thought, no rhyme, no reason why the map is so big. But here in Elden Ring, everywhere where you go, there is something going on. Like even like the small nook and crannies where you sometimes just have a few trees and like a few like NPCs standing around have a meaning or have something they want to achieve with it. And that's why I say I think this game will be absolutely influential when it comes to open world aspects for decades to come. And a lot of developers will try to recreate this feeling and will fail. They will fail. Because you also feel like that every part of the world is telling you a bit of a story, is telling you about what happened here. And if you're wondering why this person doesn't have any NPCs here, this is actually linked to a quest line where normally there would be tons of NPCs here and you would fight your way through, but there is a tournament going on right now. And that's why this is a relatively peaceful area right now. So if you're like, wait, there's nothing going on, yeah, it's because of quest. Let's jump a little bit ahead here. And also like what they managed with like the looks of this game. I mean, look at this. Holy shit. Yeah, it doesn't have the highest graphics. but it looks so good. Like the world design and the feeling they created with it, it feels so good. Like even the NPCs, like this little group here, right here. It's a small little NPC group. It's whatever. But that they're walking a patrol from the camp to the mountains and back again makes sense. Like whenever you are meeting NPCs, enemies or friends, you realize, oh, okay, this makes sense. Or we have this little swamp area here, right? This little swamp area. Is there anything crazy about it? No, there is this little Ash of War you can get, right here. And they created for this Ash of War a little swamp area. Is there anything else here? Secrets, big boss fights? No, there isn't. And there doesn't have to be. But it really showcases how much they have just thought about the world they are creating. And how it is meaningful. That's what they're basically doing. And again, the open world aspect, just fantastic. The same goes boss fights. There are so many boss fights in this area. And the crazy part about it is most of the boss fights you are fighting against are not the same boss fights. Are there some copies? Yeah, for some of the smaller dungeon areas like this one. Yeah, they are copied boss fights. Absolutely. For sure. But with the amount of boss fights, there should be so much more just copy-paste boss fights in this game than there actually are. And that's crazy that they didn't go for that. And the boss fights are just fantastic. Like they are obscene with what they have done with some of the boss fights. Well, besides of the end boss, I want my money back on that one. Unfortunately, there is like this is a bit of a spoiler, but at the end they have like a quick succession of like quite a bit of boss fights, right? And the very last boss, you didn't have to do that. That was unnecessary to the core. They definitely did fall into their old From Software behavior here, where they really just wanted to prolong the whole thing, make something super epic, and then the boss fight was pretty boring and pretty annoying, you know. But that was the only time where I really thought, oh, From Software, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? But beyond that, this game is one of the best RPGs I have ever played in my life. The story is pretty cool. Yes, I know. What? Souls games don't have a story. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. That's not true. They have a pretty interesting story that, you know, have multiple endings, like multiple endings. I know Souls games had multiple endings before I've played them, but you have much more in this one, and you have to work for them. You have to work for those endings now. I remember still the hidden ending, so to speak, of Dark Souls 3, which that was definitely also crazy, what you had to do for it. But they had more of those quest lines in this game. Let me see if I can find... Oh yeah, that seems fine. That seems fine. That's not too spoilery-esque. But yeah, like they just... they really nailed it to create such a good RPG with a world design which is out of this world. I have never seen a game developer managing to create a world design like this. And to create a world you want to explore down to the T, and you want to check out every nook and cranny, and it just feels great. Like Elden Ring, you know, where you have those games where you think, alright, well, let's see what all the hype is about. Probably so much hype, nobody can deliver on. And they not just delivered, they over-delivered. Like, you know, when Cyberpunk was hyping up themselves, and then Cyberpunk came out and it was pretty okayish game with huge technical issues and other issues, and you were like, yeah, that's what happens if you were believing in the hype and when you were giving into the hype, right? And so I had the same fear with Elden Ring. I had the same fear that Elden Ring would basically haphazardly walk into the same trap, and they did not. They thankfully did not. And they delivered so hard on it, which I'm just blown away. Like, again, Elden Ring, I know I said all of the top 5 games I'm mentioning here are games which are good anyways, and you should check them out, like, no matter what. And there is no top 1 game or top 2 game or anything. Like, all of the top 5 games are really, really good. But Elden Ring was my top 1 game. And it will probably be my top 1 game for quite some time, because it is just that freaking good. Hey, Night Tide, how are you doing? I was tight yesterday. How was that going, man? Yes, it's the Mole Awards. Well, the Golden Mole Hills. We are giving out Golden Mole Hills here. So, quite right. But yeah, as I said, Elden Ring, a fantastic game. The Magnus Opus from Software so far. Like, they have been refining this formula through the Dark Souls games over the decades. And a lot of people thought that Dark Souls 3 was like the pinnacle of what they will be able to achieve. And if that is the case, that's completely fine, because Dark Souls 3 is an outstanding game. But they showed again with Elden Ring that no, they can do more, they can do better. And I'm really proud of that. Like, they have been doing well. So, congrats to From Software. You're one of my top 5 games of 2022, and one of the best open world games in a decade, which will influence open world mechanics for games to come. That's for sure. So, congrats on that. Now, we have to talk about another game, which kind of interesting. At the release, was a little bit of a how to put it, okayish game. Hey, Lemons, welcome in. Right? It was an okayish game. And then it got a huge update called Immortal Empires, and it became a blast. and that is Total War Warhammer 3. This game came out this year, and I have nearly 500 hours in said game. The game is not even out a year, and I have put over 500 hours into the game. This game was a life consumer, and I was pretty happy with that. It is one of those games which had it coming for quite some time, and they also refined like all those years of Total War and all those years of Warhammer, and they just nailed it this time. Did they had issues? Yeah, they did. They had technical issues. I would say it's still here and there a little bit problematic. I mean, sure. But I think they just managed to create one of the best Total War games even in existence. And Three Kingdoms was pretty good, but this one just nailed it. And then Immortal Empires came out. And Immortal Empires, what it did is it took Total Warhammer 1, Total Warhammer 2, and Total Warhammer 3 and smashed it together. So that it is now one game, that you have all those connections, that you now have all those races, all those gameplay elements. They even did go back to the old Total Warhammer games and updated races and updated gameplay elements. And it did that so well. It did that so well. And especially Immortal Empires really turned this game around. Immortal Empires really turned this game around because, I will be honest, only Total Warhammer 3 feels a bit weak. Because the races basically they put in was like, oh, more chaos races, which we totally didn't have before. Now they're just a little bit more specific, right? And like there were definitely some issues at the beginning of the game where I felt like, this feels a bit weak. And then, as I said, Immortal Empires came out, and Immortal Empires just completely turned this game around in a huge way. And you really get the feeling, okay, this should have been right there at the beginning. They didn't have the time for it because it is a massive undergoing when you think about it. Like, you have to put together 3 games. You have to update the graphics of the older ones. You have to upgrade the gameplay of the older ones. Like, there was so much to do with it, right? And I get why it took a little bit longer to bring in those things for the game. But it is one of the best, or if not even the best Total War game they have ever created. A fantastic strategy game, which does some really, really cool things. Especially now with the Immortal Empires, they also have like end game events, like end of the world events you have to fight against. And the new races they added in are kind of cool. One of the main races they did put in, which don't even exist in the Warhammer lore. Like, that is the crazy part about it. Like, they put in a new race, and that race doesn't even exist in the Warhammer lore. It's a completely new design they put into the game, and it works. It's a Chinese faction, right? And they did really, really well. They felt unique, they felt interesting, and a lot of people didn't even notice that this is a race which doesn't even exist in the Warhammer world. And I hope in the future we will see more of that. Like, put in things which we haven't seen before. I mean, the Warhammer license is dead, unfortunately. They are working on bringing back the Warhammer license, if you didn't know about it. But right now, 6 years ago, they killed the Warhammer license. Oh, well, not the license directly, but they basically killed the tabletop and all coming with it. Right. So Warhammer doesn't exist. They didn't do any new story for it. They didn't edit any new characters. Like, it completely got killed off. Because, well, it didn't do well. Didn't do well. And so this is probably why Creative Assembly was able to put in a race which didn't even exist in the Warhammer universe. Because Games Workshop doesn't really care anymore. But yeah, Total Warhammer 3, definitely one of the games I enjoyed a lot this year with nearly 500 hours. And highly recommend it if you love strategy games, if you love turn-based strategy games, but also you want to have this real-time strategy fights. This is the game to go, and it's one of the best which is available right now on the market. Knight, to answer your thing, the story was really hard to follow. They always do this. It's a very cryptic thing. You have to read stuff. You have to click on the items you find. You have to read through the items you find, weapons, armors, and you have to do a little bit of reading about what is going on. It's not... This is what they always do in the Souls games and have been doing so for decades. They don't necessarily do a predefined way. They give you room for interpretation. They want the reader to understand what's going on. This is why I find it's a bit sad what we... Like in which time we are in right now and what times to be alive, so to speak. Like, a lot of people are going to YouTube immediately and somebody explains them how the story played out in that game. And it's like, well, that is your interpretation, but they're showing this interpretation as, this is it, this is the truth. And it's like, no, it isn't. That's your interpretation, and you're just using your subscriber numbers and whatnot to put your weight behind it. Like, I've seen some interpretations of the Elden Ring story where I'm like, what? They're not mentioning it one bit in that game. Where do you get that information? I was like, oh, it's his own opinion on it. Okay, but why are you presenting it as not your opinion, but as facts? I hate that so much. Yeah. So... yeah. But again, that's that. That's a problem of our time and YouTube. All right. Now, the third game on the list. Is it the third game? Wait. No. That's the fourth game. I can count. This was the third game. Man, I'm sorry. For everyone who's joining, I'm completely drugged up. I'm completely drugged up because I'm fighting with a bad flu, and so that I can actually like do this showcase, I gave me a lot of like help and all that to survive. So yeah. if I'm looking a little bit like out of it, yeah, yeah, it's a bad flu, man. It's a really bad flu. So please forgive me. Please forgive me. Yeah, keep in mind this is only for Warhammer. Warhammer 40k is their top product. Like Warhammer 40k is making them so much money, it's obscene. Just to make that absolutely clear. Yep, just to make that clear. Now, my number 3 game of this, my number 4 game. Damn it, I can't count. It doesn't get better. Yeah, Dingus since 1980. No, you are a little bit wrong. I am older than that, Lemons. But close. It's 1988. Close though. Pretty close. But my number 4 game, and a game I have to go back to because unfortunately I lost my 30-hour save game, is Grounded. Grounded was such a joy to play. And that I lost my 30-hour save game, that was not great. The good news is they're apparently still adding new stuff to Grounded. They just released patch 1.1 where they added new things to the game, right? And yeah, I might do another playthrough of Grounded. This time a full playthrough of Grounded when I have forgotten a little bit more about the game. So again, for everyone who was wondering, we were starting 1.0 release. I played it for 30 hours in total, and then my HDD died. And for whatever reason, my save games got not saved in the cloud. So yay! With that, my thingy was gone. So cool. But Grounded is one of those survival games who, just by changing where you are at in the world, is doing such a massive thing. Which is kind of funny because you were shrinked. Right? This is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the game, where you were playing the kids and you were trying to survive in the backyard. And because of that, oh my god, this took me so many hours to build what you are seeing here in the background. This was a really pain in the ass. I'm still pissed that I lost my save file. But just like the scale, I don't think I have seen a lot of games where they're really managing well the scale of you being small and everything is just huge. Like, technically you are in a forest, like in every survival game, and then you are fighting against monsters, and you have to figure out like the mystical secrets which are happening around you, right? But in this game, well, that's not really it. You are in the grass, and you are fighting everything which is in your backyard, or well, typical American backyard. To make that very clear. Not European backyard. Our backyards are not as dangerous, I think. Yeah, not as dangerous. Less poisonous spiders, that's for sure. But this game, like the survival aspect they are doing is just fantastic. The building is so good. You know, I have played quite a bit of building games over the years, and I have played quite a bit of Unreal Engine games which are using the inbuilt building function, right? If you don't know, Unreal Engine is coming with a lot of like pre-stuff, and people are just using the building function which is in the Unreal Engine. And let me just say, it is horrid. It is always horrid because it feels clunky. It doesn't feel as smooth, and you notice very quickly that somebody is using the inbuilt building function of Unreal Engine. Cool. This game does not. It does not do that. And you can feel that because it feels absolutely smooth. Like, there are rare moments in this game where I hate the building. It doesn't happen often. And again, the world design is really just what this game nails, right? You are going through this backyard and you feel like, whoa, what awaits me behind the next corner? What awaits me behind the long grass? Well, probably a spider trying to eat your ass, and not in a fun way. Like, again, the game has so many mysteries and so many cool stuff going on. And they really managed to take something which is as normal when you were big, right? Like, so many of the cool backgrounds and so many of the cool buildings and areas where you want to go, because you see it from afar and you think, whoa, that looks really cool. It's just some standard stuff you are seeing every day when you are not shrunk, right? But because you are that small, you are interested in to find out what that is and what it can do now that you are shrunk. And that they actually managed to portray that in a video game, the feeling of you're now small and everything is just like huge, giggity, is really refreshing. It's absolutely refreshing, and it makes you feel like, whoa, I have to figure that out. Like, again, they did such a good job with this game. Also, upgrading your character feels good. You're finding more and more stuff the longer the game goes on. And it is one of the best survival games in years. I know people look at this and go like, this is for children. Kids game. No. Also, man, there's some really frightening moments in this game. I had some moments where I was like, don't want to be here. Like the hatch at night with the tons of spiders. Nope. Doesn't. Nope. Or even the underwater segments. Nope. Like, it's like, it might look like a kid's game, but if you think this is a kid's game, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. And you judge a game you judge a book by its cover. And you shouldn't do that. Like, Like this game, I wouldn't let my kids play this. This is a horror game. Like, And we both freak out together. That's fine. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. I wouldn't let this game I wouldn't probably let my kid play this game alone. But yeah, together, for sure. For sure. I can see that. Well, the good thing is I don't have kids, but just saying, like, it's definitely not a game which is made for the faint of heart. you know, it's definitely not for the faint of heart. And again, it's a great game. The story is alright. I would say the story in the game is it's alright. It's alright. It's a little, you know, mystery thingy going on. Nothing too grandeur, but doesn't have to be, you know. But gameplay wise, it's just fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. So, Grounded, a survival game which can be so much more, and a survival game I would even recommend to a lot of people who don't normally like survival games. Like, it's really good, and it gives you a lot of options. To language. You know what's funny? This is just a little bit of a side thing. It's definitely one of the cultural interesting differences between Europe and America all the time. Like, my mother basically started to accept the moment I joined the kindergarten. I would come home with some strong language, and like nobody bats an eye here. Where especially in the USA, like a lot of people are looking out for like language and all that. It's. I'm not saying it's wrong or make fun of it. I don't. Like, again, especially with my girlfriend who is from Africa, right? Like, you learn a lot of different cultures, different things and how they are doing it, and I totally came to accept that. But it's so interesting for me that language is one of the things in the USA which a lot of parents are looking out for, and then here in Europe it's just like, some, depending on the country sometimes, but they have like some of the most foul languages everywhere and nobody cares about it, right? Yeah. It's fascinating for me, you know, how similar cultures can be, but then you are looking at the details of the difference of the cultures, and you actually realize there's quite a bit. There's quite a bit of difference, and that's cool. Yeah. For us, our parents teach us where to use that foul language and not the words itself. Fair enough. Like, it's so hilarious to me. Or not hilarious. It's super interesting. My girlfriend, like as I said, is from Africa, and religion and Christianity is really strong over there, right? Like, really, really strong. I would say it can rival the US in some areas when it comes to Christianity and all that. It's really strong. But wow, I have seen, when it comes to foul language, damn, they are not holding back. They are not holding back on the swears and the F bombs and all that. They are not holding back at all. It's like parents, children, like it doesn't matter. It's like so fascinating. It is so fascinating. But yeah. But yeah, this was Grounded. Definitely one of my top 4 games of the year. Highly recommended. They're doing so much right here, and they are still adding new content to the game. Like as I said, I think yesterday was just the release of patch 1.1, and they added new items to the game, new building stuff. They upgraded that. You can now like just craft out of the box, so you don't have to pick up the items anymore from your chests, no matter where they are in the base, right? Like you can just do it from everywhere now. And they're still adding stuff. They are still planning on adding more content. You know? So even if you're starting right now, there's more content to come. And I'm really looking forward to that. Again, Grounded is available on Xbox. I don't know if it's available on PlayStation, actually. It is available on PC, and then, of course, on Game Pass, if you're a Game Pass user. But more spiders, probably at some point. Yeah. They have made it clear multiple times that they're actually not done with Grounded when it comes to new enemies, new areas even. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting, Knight. I see what you were saying. So, and with that, we have reached the last game. The 5th game of the top 5 games of 2022 this year. Now, we are not done. There's still much more stuff to come. Don't you worry about it. Like, we have much more things to talk about. And the last game, which is on my list, I don't think this is coming to anyone's surprise in the slightest. Like, everyone will go like, yeah, duh. And that is Warhammer 40k Darktide. What a fun game this is. This is just a fun game, which has problems here and there, but I still play it. I definitely have to do some community nights as long as we have my vacation, which is starting next week. But this is just a fun game which does a lot of things right. And yeah, there are some issues. Totally. I will not deny that. But you can jump in, you can have a lot of fun, but you can also decide that you want to dive deeper into the game and you want to learn like all the small little details, like how to improve your character, how to improve your weapons, and just make it harder and harder for you. And the game is rewarding that. I'm shocked. Actually, you are not shocked. Nobody's shocked about this. I mean, I made it one of my main games in my channel when it comes to guides, even though I have to admit I am disappointed by the numbers. But then again, the problem is that literally every Warhammer channel, like even the Warhammer channels, which are mostly focusing on the lore aspect of Warhammer 40k, are like in this game and creating content for it. So I shouldn't be too shocked by it when YouTube is like, hey, there is a 6-year-old Warhammer 40k channel with 500,000 subscribers. Let's push that instead of the dude with 2,000 subscribers, and who doesn't do that as long as the others do. Not surprised by that at all. But I will admit, I hoped for more views, especially because the pre-release views were actually really, really good on Warhammer 40k. But that doesn't matter right now because we are talking about the game. Warhammer 40k, I have to admit, I was a bit afraid. I was afraid that this would be another Vermintide. That this would be another Vermintide game just with a Warhammer 40k skin on top of it, and they would call it a day. That was my fear I had in the end. It's like, oh, cool, Vermintide, yay. But Warhammer 40k, yay, right? And it isn't. Are there a lot of similarities there? Yeah, there is. There's a lot of similarities there. Absolutely. Absolutely. For sure. But it feels different when you play it a bit more. You can now specialize your gameplay style quite a bit, right? Like you can really specialize in what you want to do. Like I am playing a melee crit dodger, so I'm dodging a lot, and I do a lot of crits and bleeding. Well, because my crits are creating bleeding, so that's what I'm going for. And it just feels so good. The combat feels visceral in range and melee. Again, the game has some problems. What I find a little bit unfortunate is the boss fights. Like in Vermintide 2, we actually had multiple different boss fights with multiple phases and some really, really cool mechanics. Where in this one, they have two boss fights, they're the same thing, and they are not really that interesting at all. There is lots of room to grow for this game. I mean, it's a live service game. So we will get more content. We will have more things coming our way, right? So it's not like it's like Vermintide, where they were basically done with it and then just put out some DLCs here and there. They're definitely taking a different route this time, which I'm okay with. Again, weapon balance is still a problem, but that was to be expected, really. They started with less content than with Vermintide 2, but I think this one is more refined. Like, Vermintide 2 had 12 classes at the beginning of the release. They started out with 12 classes. Now we have only 4. And a lot of people have been complaining about this, right? They have been like, wow, 4? Only 4? Yo, that's shit, man. And I have to say, I get what you are saying, but the reality is, let's look back at the classes which came with Vermintide 2 and tell me straight to my face that half of them was actually viable. Because they were not. They were not viable. That was one of the big issues, and they never became viable. Like, if you were playing a handmaiden? I think it's the handmaiden, which is still considered as one of the most useless classes in Vermintide today. And that was one of the release classes. Like, I think it is better if they are starting with a lower number this time, and they're gradually adding more classes which really make a difference on how you play a character. Instead of just changing the special you have. Like, make it meaningful. And make it viable. Same goes for weapons. Did we add more weapons in Vermintide? Yeah. Were half of the weapons absolutely dog shit when they came out and nobody used them anyways? Yeah. Yeah, they were. Which was a problem. So, take your time. But I really love the world of Warhammer 40k. Huge Warhammer 40k nerd and fan. And just having a game which breathes and feels like Warhammer 40k. I know you mentioned Nighttide, you mentioned Demon Hunters earlier, which was also a pretty good game. But to just walk through those halls and see the Warhammer 40k world alive and terrifying, it's just fantastic, really. And the game feels good. I was lucky enough. I didn't have any technical issues. I know that some people were really suffering from crashes and disconnects at the beginning of the game, which is really, really unfortunate. But I was lucky enough I didn't have that. So for me, it was smooth sailing. And again, this is a great game. It's a great game. Even if you're just playing around, which takes about 20 to 30 minutes on average, it would be fun. It's fun with randoms, because most randoms by now kind of know what they are doing. And of course, if you have friends to play this, it makes it even better. There's no doubt about that. This is one of those games. You can play this with people you know. Oh, you will have a blast. You will have a blast. No matter if you fail or not, you will have a blast. Right? And it just feels good. One thing, and this is definitely something I would have liked them to wait. Like this is the one big critic, point I have, and where I'm kind of critical about it, is the Game Pass version. If you don't know, the Game Pass version is unfortunately right now not compatible with any other version. Like you cannot play with the people on Steam together. You were bound to Game Pass and to Xbox. Well, and Xbox is not out yet. So the pool of players is unfortunately relatively small in comparison. And they shouldn't have done that, in my opinion. It is one of the things they shouldn't have done. They should have waited. And that you cannot carry over your progress to the Steam version, okay, that's not great, but that would have still been a thing where I could argue, hey, when you were playing it on Game Pass, probably fine with it. But that you cannot play with other people, that's a no-no. That's such a no-no. And I'm really, really unhappy about that. Like, it's unfortunate. It really is. So they're working on it. Keep in mind, this is not a thing which stays forever. I think this is actually one of the highest priorities right now for the team, to get the connection with Steam going. But at this moment of recording, it is not possible. And it is unfortunate. It really is. But yeah, those were the top 5 games of 2022 for me. We had Vampire Survivors, Elden Ring, Total Warhammer 3, Grounded, and Warhammer 40k Darktide. Yep. And if you're like, why not God of War? Because I don't have a PlayStation. I will probably love it when it comes out on PC in 2 years or so. Who knows? I cannot play it. Simple as that. This is why I was actually pretty happy that God of War didn't win the Game Awards Game of the Year. Because I'm not a fan of games winning Game of the Year who are only available on one single platform. I find that not great. When 80% of the gaming world cannot play the game. It's like, yeah. I'm not a fan of exclusivities. Never have been, never will be. So, yeah. But, yeah, those were my top 5 games. As I said, it was definitely not the games I expected to be my top 5 games this year. I will be honest. I have to admit that I had other games on the top of my head. But the reality is, things got postponed. So many things just got postponed. And you cannot really do anything about that. So unfortunately, a lot of the games I was actually looking forward to didn't came out, or the ones I looked forward to kind of failed, like Arkham Knights. Arkham Knights is definitely one of the games I was looking forward to. And that game was kind of a bust. Like, the performance was absolutely atrocious, to say the least. And the gameplay was alright, but not as good as the normal Batman series. So, yeah. But folks, we have more to come. We have to crown the shittiest company for 2022. Then we are talking about the games we are looking forward to in 2023. Where, by the way, you can also tell me which games you are looking forward to in 2023. And then we are talking about the future of my channel and the future of YouTube Gaming, because YouTube Gaming had a huge AMA yesterday where they answered some burning questions from the community. And it was a banger. I have been reading through that AMA, and hot damn, if they can actually pull this off. YouTube is out for blood, and it is out for blood on the Twitch side of things. Like, ooh, they have some big things planned for next year. So we will talk about that. But before we do, I will take a super quick bio break. As I said, I'm still fighting off whatever that is what I have. Probably just a normal flu. But yeah, we will be back with the Brownish Turtle Award, which is given to the shittiest company in 2022. If you missed it, we already gave out a special award to Elon Musk and Twitter for the loudest idiot on the planet in 2022. He definitely won that. Congratulations again to the winner. And we will be back after just a quick break. Yes. See you in like 5 minutes. I'm back. Thank you so much for waiting. Hi! Here we are again with the Golden Molehill Awards 2022. And we're just done with the top 5 games of the year. Don't forget, I will also put the I will put them on Twitter and all that, and I will also put them in my Discord if you are still interested to see who are my top 5 games of this year. But now we're going to a category I first implemented, I think 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago where we first had this category, and that was the shittiest company of 2022. And I really hate the idea to have this, but unfortunately it become more and more prevalent that we have some companies in the gaming industry who are just predators at this point, who try to get the most money out of the customers and just don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. And even if people are pointing out like, hey, can you be a bit less shitty? No. And they double down, right? And especially this year, it was another year where they were just fighting over it. I said it as a joke earlier, but I could have made a Battle Royale round in Fortnite or wherever with the shittiest companies this year, and I would have probably get together like 100 people. We had so many companies this year who just pushed for the absolute worst. And it sucks. I don't want that. Nobody wants that. Right? Like nobody wants to have like a big company trampling on the customers. Like I don't have a problem with companies like trying to beat each other. Go for it. But if you are starting to tread on on your consumers, right? I have a problem with that. I have an absolute problem with that. And there was one company in particular who this year in particular did so many things where I was just appalled by. It was horrid. And that company lost a lot of respect. Like, a lot of respect. And this is why this company won the brownish turd molehill of 2022. Congratulations, PlayStation. You did it. You managed to get that award for the shittiest company of 2022. You have done so many things over the months who are completely against everything which is consumer friendly. And especially now with Microsoft trying to buy Activision Blizzard and the things you are trying to pull and the lies you are putting out there just to keep your monopoly going is really appalling. It is absolutely appalling. Do you still create good games? Well, God of War is showing it. But first, you're janking up the price tags to €90, aka $80. Well, no, actually €80, $70. My bad. €80, $70, which is kind of crazy because the euro and the dollar is the same thing, so Europeans have to pay more, which is pretty shitty to say the least. Then you increase the price on your PlayStation by $50. Of course, again, not in North America because you're not the number one party there, or not as big as in Europe yet. And you were just like, yeah, we cannot do that for North America because there would actually be repercussions for us. But for the rest of the world, Suck it. Suck it long and hard. That was the second thing you basically did. And there was no reason for it. Man, the PlayStation was selling like crazy. But no, you wanted to keep your extra cut. Because since the end of PlayStation 4, PlayStation was selling their console at a win. They were not losing money anymore. And they have reached a point where they just don't want to miss out on it anymore. And if that means they have to increase the price by 50 euro in a time where people are struggling with money, where inflation is eating up everything, where the price tag on electricity and other commodities have just been risen, you were like, yeah, you know what? We need more money. We want more money out of this. This was not because PlayStation was losing money. This was not because PlayStation might have been in trouble or anything. This was really just like, how can we make even more money without any rhyme or reason? And then the whole thing now with Activision Blizzard. Look, that you are not happy that Microsoft is buying Activision Blizzard, I can see that. Especially where Call of Duty is a big deal on the PlayStation. Like, I just have to look around when we have non-hardcore gamers who basically only play FIFA and who only play Call of Duty on their consoles. And I know enough friends of their friends of their friends who buy a new console and it is PlayStation and they buy Call of Duty on it. That's it. And then an occasional game if they really feel like it. And you were really afraid of losing that market. I can totally understand that, Sony. But the problem is that the reason why you say, no, don't do this, well, there is no reason. You have made the point that Microsoft would remove Call of Duty from the PlayStation. And now Microsoft did go so far to tell you, hey, let's make a contract. Let's make it an infinity contract. Okay, we cannot really do that because, well, laws and other things which probably would prevent this. But let's make at least a 10-year contract that for the next 10 years, Call of Duty will not go anywhere. Hell, we even give you the option to get another 10-year contract afterwards. Hell, we even give you the option to put it on PlayStation Plus day and date if you so desire. And Sony is like, you are taking away Call of Duty from us. You're taking it away. I can feel it in my bones. I was like, what? What? No, they don't. Like, they make so many points which are just faults and lies, or is exactly what Sony has been doing for years. And I'm actually pissed that some of the watchdogs in different countries are falling for it. The FTC, the CME, that they have been actually falling for Sony's bullshit. That they are protecting the interests of Sony instead of the interests of the consumer, which would be that a lot of the Blizzard games and Activision games would come to Game Pass day and date. That we would probably see Blizzard games coming to Steam. Because right now it's only available on Battle.net. We would probably see that happening. They would still be available on PlayStation and they will be now coming to Switch. Like, what else does Microsoft has to do to make you show that they will not take it away? That they are not interested in that? Like, I don't get it. And it annoys the heck out of me. And again, Sony is not making any good points. They're making up lies. And it's just horrid. Absolutely horrid. And because of all those things, yes, PlayStation 1, the brownish turtle of 2022. You did so much bullshit, and as I said, PlayStation lost so much respect from me. I was having a PlayStation since the PlayStation 1. PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. Shit. I was one of those stupid people, and yes, I call them stupid people, who bought a PlayStation 3 at release date for $600. Even though that was a pretty shitty thing to do. I was one of those people. Because I love PlayStation and I love their games. And I have the feeling Sony is now back to the PlayStation 3 era days, where they just realized, hey, wait a second. We are the king. We are number one. Shit, we can do whatever we want. And there are no repercussions, as we can see. And I find that very heinous, to say the least. By the way, as we are on the topic, I want to give out a second award. This is a smaller one. And this one is the Imaginary Lie Award, because I'm not giving to you anything. It doesn't exist because I just made it up, like you made it up when you did drag Mick Gordon to the mud. Congratulations, Bethesda, for winning the Imaginary Lie Award, right? They definitely deserve that as well. They were pretty close to being the shittiest company this year for personally tarnish the reputation of Mick Gordon, who is the creator of the music in Doom and many other titles he has been doing. And if you have missed it, he put out a lot of evidence that basically ID Software and the creator of Doom was a piece of shit, and put a lot of blame on Mick Gordon when it came to the music, even though it was their mistake. They even didn't pay them in full. He is still waiting for the full payment of his work he did 2 years ago. And Bethesda's only reaction was, no, oh, that's a hit piece. Oh, how can you put that out there? We are so disappointed. Also, we have our own evidence, and we are ready to showcase this evidence, and we will do so, and we will show you that our evidence is much better than the one Mick Gordon has, and Mick Gordon is a liar. By the way, that was nearly 3 months ago, and we are still waiting, Bethesda. We didn't get anything besides of trust me, bro. So, cool. But hey, that's Bethesda for you. Like, as somebody who had the honor to deal with some of their legal bullshit or know some of their legal bullshit, yeah, they're doing a lot on the shadows, which is not so great. But that was the shittiest company of 2022. Let's talk about the games I'm looking forward to in 2023. By the way, quick note. Dark Tide just got an 8 GB update. Holy moly. We have to go through that afterwards. I think I will make a video for my channel on that. Yes. Awesome. Oh, this was yesterday. Why did it only give me the update now? We will still make this. Hey Zoe, welcome in. So let's talk about the games I'm really looking forward to in 2023. Yep. Let's talk about the games I'm looking forward to. Let's talk about something something positive. Yep. Let's do that. And let's talk about some of the games I really look forward to. First things first, we have Wayfinder. I know this game might have been flown a little bit under the radar for some people. I lovely call it World of Warcraft 2 because of the graphic style and all. But the game is coming out next year, and they will have multiple tests, betas, and of course early access. And then the game is coming out by the end of the year. Or well, that's at least what they are saying. And there is right now a test going on in the background, but that is under strict NDA. And this is a black sheep moment, in my opinion. This is one of those games where, or not a black sheep, a dark horse. Sorry, I mix that up sometimes. A black sheep, dark horse. Sorry, little mix up in my head there. But this is like a dark horse thing. Like a lot of people don't really see this game, and they will probably ignore it at the beginning. But I can totally see how this game could be big, especially in the MMO area. Because it looks fluent. It's developed by Airship Syndicate, who already made some pretty good games. The animations look great. The fighting looks great. This is co-developed with Digital Extremes, who is helping out the team to manage their resources right, to help them when it comes to like servers and connections. If you're like Digital Extremes, Warframe, the creators of Warframe. And they will also like take their expertise when it comes to monetization and other things. They are directly taking help from Digital Extremes, right? And that's pretty great, right? Like having an open world game with dungeons, which also plays a little bit like Warframe, and I cannot wait for this game. This game looks fantastic. And I'm really curious to see what the small team can do with the idea of creating an open world MMO, which has also like a lot of dungeons where you can control what's going on in the dungeons. Right? Like it seems like they're trying a lot of new stuff, but also a lot of things you're used to. It looks a bit like Wildstar graphic-wise. Yeah, I can probably also combat-wise. It's an action-oriented combat game. Yeah. This is by Airship Syndicate, who made Battle Chasers Night War, The Ruin King, a League of Legends story, and of course Darksider Genesis. I think it's called Genesis. Yeah. This is by the same company. And their CEO is a legendary comic artist. I always forget what type of comics he made. Always forget. But yeah, you can see his artistic vision and artistic in the game quite a bit. Yeah. So, and none of the games have been bad. Like all 3 games Airship Syndicate made, they're all good. They created 3 games and they made 3 bangers. So This is why I'm pretty excited about this, especially with Digital Extremes in the wings, who can hopefully give them some help on the MMO part. I think that's really important. Now, another game which I'm really looking forward to, and which was just announced at the Game Awards, without question, Hades 2. Man, I cannot believe that we are getting a Hades 2. Because the first rule of Supergiant games, no, is not having sexy dudes and dudesses in the game. That is just normal. No, but like, you don't make sequels. Supergiant Games does not make sequels. They never have. They had Bastion, Transistor, Pyre, and Hades, right? They made 4 games, and they were all... They had similarities, but they were still quite different. And that's what Supergiant Games does. Different games. But I assume that Hades was making them quite a bit of money. Like, quite a bit of money. And they couldn't ignore that. They couldn't ignore that. So they were just like, yeah, you know what, let's do it. And I'm happy with it, because the story of Hades was not done. They had a pretty open ending, to put it that way. And the gameplay was just, I'm actually planning to do another Hades playthrough in my vacation time, because it was so good. Like, I bought the game twice. That's how good it was. Well, okay, good. I bought the first time it on Epic because it was an Epic exclusive, and then I completely forgot about it a year later, and then I bought it on Steam again when I wanted to play it and didn't know anymore like how I played it in the first place. I was like, wait, you played this in early access, but I don't have it on Steam. What? Did I play it on Game Pass? No, it wasn't available on Game Pass yet. I was so confused when it came out on Steam. And I just bought it again on Steam. And you know what? Worth it. Absolutely worth it. Till I then realized afterwards, oh, you idiot, you bought it on Epic. Dingus. Absolute dingus. Oh well. Getting confused here. But yeah, Hades 2, definitely a game I'm looking forward to. Oh, I can't have enough. It would be great. Quick note, I will not talk too much about it, even though I'm looking very much forward to it, but there is not much showing yet. Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. Absolutely looking forward to it. But again, there is not much... There's not much going on, right? Like, I cannot really talk about it because we haven't seen anything. So, yeah. Now the next game I'm looking forward to. I have to admit, I'm a bit afraid of it. I know that a lot of people will be like, meh, whatever. But I'm really looking forward to Diablo 4. From what we have heard and seen from Diablo 4, it looks so good. It seems like that they are finally going back to what they have been doing right with Diablo 2 and just build on it. And yes, I will woefully ignore the Blizzard issues here for a hot minute. I will do that. Please forgive me. You don't have to. But for this moment, I will ignore that for a hot minute. But here's the thing. Diablo 4 looks fantastic. Like, graphically, it looks really good. But gameplay-wise, it seems like they have finally realized that Diablo 3 was a failure. I know this is like a lot of people will be like, no, Diablo 3 was actually good and wasn't too bad. And it's like, no, I very much disagree. Diablo 3, from a gameplay perspective, was a step back in everything they have achieved in Diablo 2. And I hate to pretend otherwise at this point. I just hate it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Diablo 3 is a bad game. It's an okay-ish game, in my opinion. It's an okay-ish game at this point. But it is a step back. It is an absolute step back in what they have achieved in Diablo 2. Like, just the amount of things you could do to your character to be different. And that was basically all gone in Diablo 3. Everyone was basically playing the same character, with the same abilities. And yeah, I don't say cookie cutter builds didn't exist in Diablo 2. They totally did, quite a bit. But it still felt like you made a meaningful choice by skilling your character. It's the same thing. This is what Blizzard didn't understood for years. Like, it's like as if they couldn't comprehend that skill trees give you the illusion of choice. Like, they removed it from World of Warcraft because it doesn't really give you a choice, and it doesn't really make your character too different. So we have a new system which gives you more choice. And it's like, no, it didn't. And it didn't feel like that. Yes, I am aware, and most people were aware, that the skill trees in World of Warcraft and even Diablo 2 were an illusion. They were not really giving you choice, but they made you feel they did. And they also give you an accomplishment. Whenever you leveled up, you could put a point somewhere. It was a reward system. And the new people, which basically took over time, just couldn't comprehend it. That's the only way how I can describe it at this point. They couldn't comprehend what skill trees were doing for the player. I mean, World of Warcraft has now skill trees again, right? They brought that back, and they're bringing skill trees back to Diablo 4. So it's like, yeah, apparently they are finally realizing that skill trees were quite important for the player. But yeah, it seems like this time there are also far more RPG mechanics in there, right? And far more ways to create your own character. Like, the boss fights look cool. The abilities look really cool. Like, I'm really, really looking forward to Diablo 4. Again, I'm not happy what they are doing with the pre-order. And I'm not happy what they are doing with the 3 days early access, you know. I'm not happy about that. I will point that out. It's pretty scummy. And that they took a page from Activision there in Call of Duty is something I'm really not proud of. Really not. But apparently that's the way they're going, and I'm still hoping that Microsoft can actually finish like the whole buyout and put a stop in all the bullshit, and also put the game on Game Pass. That would be pretty neat. but I'm not counting on it at this point. But yeah, Diablo 4, another game I'm looking forward to in 2023. By the way, folks, let me know which game you are looking forward to in the next year. Like, I know we have a lot of indie games I'm also looking forward to, which are hopefully coming out next year. You're shocked to hear it's The Awakened. What was The Awakened? The Awakened. It rings a bell. The Awakened. What was that? Damn it. Oh, the new Sherlock Holmes. Thank you. Thank you. I hope that Judas is coming out next year. I hope that Judas is coming out. But I doubt it a bit. Just a bit. I went full fangirl mode on Judas. I mean, rightfully so. Rightfully so. I mean, I went full fangirl mode. So, yeah. Yeah. I can get that. I can get behind that. Judas is one of the better Lady Gaga. That's fair. That's fair. Another game, especially since yesterday, I have been really looking forward to, and it looks fantastic. This would be one of those moments, which is again controversial, because unfortunately, the person who received the money from this game is a person who shouldn't. But Hogwarts Legacy. If you haven't seen my reaction to the gameplay showcase they did yesterday, you should, because man, that game is beautiful, really interesting gameplay wise, and it looks so good. And I'm not even a huge Harry Potter fan at this point anymore. Like, it just looks like a great game. Again, unfortunately, it is linked to a very awful person. But it's unfortunate. I'm home. I'm here. Welcome home, Sakura. They were also showing the housing system and how the crafting system works. They were a little bit too much focused on this particular part here, where they were like, "Oh my God, look at the crafting system, and this is how crafting works, and this is what we are doing." And it's like, dude, it's normal crafting. Let's calm down here for a second. This is like the most rudimentary standard crafting system I've ever seen in a video game. Let's not pretend that this is something outstanding we have never seen in a video game before. But they have been like championing it as something crazy. That was always like debatable. You get your jumps cleaned. That's always good. But yeah, they showed the crafting, they showed like the housing aspect, and they also showed this one right here, which is the pet aspect, where you have like tons of the mythical creatures from the Harry Potter world, and how you basically can take care of them. And yes, you can pet them. You can even clean them. But they are also producing resources for you Oh my god, look at that thing. That moon calf is just... And now we are getting to the most important part in this presentation. The mole. They have a mole? Well, Niffler, but it's a mole. It's a mole. Look at that thing. Dah! I was really hyped when I saw this. Dah. Dah. Aww. Yes, it is definitely a mole. Absolutely happy about that. But yeah, so they also that cat, which is not a cat, because they have cats in the game, and then they have that thing, whatever that is. But yeah, they're showing like the building aspects. They're showing how fast you can change stuff. Like this game could be whoa, you know. I'm actually really interested in it. The more I'm seeing of it, so yeah. Hogwarts Legacy, it is. Another game I'm looking forward to because I've already played it a year ago? 1.5 years ago, actually. 1.5 years ago, I played this, and it was actually really, really good. It was really cool, and that is Company of Heroes 3. Company of Heroes 3 is finally coming out at the beginning of next year, and even when I played it a year ago, it was fantastic. For everyone who is wondering, the biggest change is that they basically made it a total Warhammer game, or a total war game. Like, it's super fascinating what they did with the campaign mode. In the campaign, you are now playing it like Total War, right? You have Italy. This whole thing is playing in Italy. And then you can see right here, you are now making your decisions on the world map. Everything is turn-based, and you're getting resources, and you have to manage those resources, yada, yada, yada. Like, very Total War-esque. But then you can fight those fights, and they will become your Company of Heroes turn-based, or not turn-based, like real-time strategy stuff. And that's really cool. That is such a cool idea. I know it's like, yeah, well, duh. It's simple, but it's effective. And it really seems like with the third Company of Heroes, they redefined a lot of the aspects of the game to make them more tactical, but also make it so that you can just look a little bit more at the action. Like, that was one of the big complaints people had with Company of Heroes 2, that it came down to micromanagement, and it was so much at some point that you didn't really look at the action anymore. They could have had different numbers fighting against each other, and they would have had the same effect. It's like, yeah, that was okay. So, again, Company of Heroes 3 is definitely one of those real-time turn-based strategy games I'm really looking forward to. And I want more. I'm really looking forward to this. Also very interesting, this game is coming to consoles. They've just announced that at the Game Awards, that this game is also coming to Xbox and the PlayStation. I don't even know if it's coming to Xbox Game Pass day one, because it is Sega, and Sega loves their Game Pass on day one. I think Total Warhammer is still not available on Game Pass, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But this is a game I'm also looking forward to. What else? What is confirmed? I know we have like tons of other games. Like 2023 will become such a bonkers year. Like, seriously. 2023 just doesn't, like, if they are not postponing any of the releases they have planned for next year, it would be bonkers. It would be absolutely bonkers. Like, there are so many games I wanna check out. Like, if I would make a list of all the games I'm really looking forward to and would go down that list, we would be here for the next 2 hours, 3 hours, if not even more. Like, it is just crazy what we are getting next year. Absolutely crazy. Which, speaking of which, there is one last game I want to talk about. And this one is another dark horse moment. This is another dark horse moment. And we have to talk about a game which I think a lot of people ignore, kinda-ish, and that is Redfall. Redfall is really a game I'm looking forward to because the secret world, right? Like, it gives me such a strong secret world vibes, and I'm just here for it. I'm just so here for it. I didn't have like, the secret world was such an amazing game. And then it is Arcane, and Arcane is like, hey, you know what? Let's make the secret world as a first-person shooter. But you can also play it with friends. And it's like, oh yes, please. Yes, daddy, spank me. Wait. Oh, that was different. Sorry. Like, they literally did go there and was like, does somebody remember Secret Word? Nah, probably not. How about we're just stealing Innsmouth? Right, we are stealing the first city and just put that in our game. Yeah, okay. That was basically the thinking here, and they pushed through with that. So I'm really looking forward to Redfall, but I also know that Redfall is a little bit like the Black Horse, you know. It's this, or Dark Horse. Sorry, it's like one of the sayings I'm mixing with German sayings, but it just looks cool. Might be a bit generic here and there, but I think it looks cool. But the world design and also the secrets and all, like, they have already said in multiple interviews that they want to put in like a lot of mystery, secrets, riddles. Especially the riddles part was where my ears peaked up. I was like, wait, riddles? Riddles? Right? And yeah, like, just seeing this game, it's like giving me a lot of secret world vibes. And as I said before, I'm all for it. Like, give me, I loved Secret World. I'm still kind of pissed that it never got the attention it deserved, because it really did something crazy new in the MMO world. And I'm hoping that Redfall can make the splash. Morse, oh gosh. Funny enough, that was actually one of the easier ones, because I know Morse code. As a kid, I had walkie-talkies, of course we had, and they were like always the Morse code down there, and I learned that. It's kind of hilarious. But yeah, I love the character design. I love the customization you can do with the character, actually. And like the bit of Borderlands they put in here. And I don't mean this in the negative term. Like the amount of weapons they're giving you and weapon customization is really what makes this interesting. And well, you can play it with your friends, right? So this game is such an underdog, I think, and that a lot of people are just missing out on it. But I think it will be really good. By the way, we will definitely do some community days. This game will be, of course, on Game Pass Day 1. So if you have to have a Game Pass and you might want to play with me then when it comes out, having some fun with it, I'm absolutely up for it. Yeah, just saying. Just saying. Yeah. But yeah, it looks great. Like, it looks cool, you know. Especially this part. This one looks crazy. Where you have this going into another world, right? Where everything is just going crazy. Man. World design. Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, this is one of those underdog games I am really looking forward to. And I think a lot of people will miss out on it. Well, not miss out on it, but at the beginning there will be a lot of, I don't know if we want to play this. Yeah, by the way, here's the quick look at some of the character customization you have in the game. Oh wow, I did go back far to watch. Right, like you have some stuff here with the skills. And you have some skill points. It looks kind of cool. They have the different weapons with the different rarity and all that. Like, it's not just the world design, which make me interested in this game, but also how the character customization can go and what you can actually do. Like, yeah, sign me up for it. So this was the last game I really wanted to showcase, because I think for a lot of people they will miss out on it. I really think so. And that's good for me because yay! Recognition. Woo! More chances for me. Now with that said, there's one last thing we have to talk about. One last topic. And this one has nothing to do with gaming in itself, but with the channel. I want to talk to you about the future of this channel, how 2022 was, and what is gonna happen also with YouTube Gaming, where they're going, and a little bit of like cleanup before my break. So I think it doesn't really come to a surprise for anyone that I was kind of disappointed in 2022. Like, we had the big move from Trovo over here to YouTube Gaming, and this will be my last goal, at least for the foreseeable future. I would even go so far to say that YouTube is now the last stop. YouTube is the last stop for me on my content creator career, because even if it should slow down, which it doesn't, like we will talk about what YouTube has planned next year in just a few minutes, but even if they just abandon live streaming and all that, I think there's growth potential on YouTube for me. I just had to figure it out. And I basically now have a plan for my main channel, which is guides and live streams. That's what we are doing here. And all the other React stuff is going over to my second channel, right? And the React videos are actually doing quite well, fascinatingly enough. So that's good. There's some other stuff I have planned for next year when it comes to maybe another channel. Right? It sucks that you really have to do this, that you basically have to specialize your channels on something and then you have to switch between them. I don't like that, and I hope that at some point YouTube would be able to figure that out, but I don't think it will happen. But the reality is, and this is what I wanted to talk about, 2022 was a failure from a content creation perspective. Like, I see it as a failure. I see it as not a waste of time, but I haven't really achieved any of the goals I had. And I feel let down by myself. And one of the reasons for that is definitely that really none of the games I planned for in 2022 came out that year. There were so many games which just got postponed, like Redfall was one of them, right? Starfield was definitely one of them. Company of Heroes, yeah, was another game which should have come out this year. Like, there was, if I would have gone through my list again, I would see a lot of games which didn't came out this year, which were kind of important for the growth of my channel. And I mean, you could even argue, just look at the top 5 games of this year for me. It was a pretty mediocre list, in my opinion. Like, this was one of those years where I didn't have the problem to find 5 games I want to have on my top 5 years or on my top 5 list. Didn't have any of that problem. I had last year and the year before. I really had to make some tough decisions on games I wanted to have on the top 5 list. This year, I actually had to look twice to find like 5 games. And like 2022 was rough on everything. Like, fewer numbers, subscriber numbers, money numbers. Like, I mean, I lost quite a bit moving away from Mixer and then going to Trovo. And Trovo was already not so great, but still okay-ish. Since we have moved to YouTube, things have been going not so great. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not blaming you. I know this is a tough topic and people will feel bad for it or be like, oh man, it's like pulling us down here. That's not my intention. I just hate to paint this picture of everything is fine, everything is great, it's amazing, yay. I hate to paint that picture. I hate to lie to people. Like, I see this quite a bit on social media when people are basically trying to make it look like that they are on the upwind, but in the background they are falling apart. I actually know of a content creator who did exactly that, right? Who was pretending that his content creator career is doing absolutely fantastic. Like, no issues, no nothing. It's all just going upwards. And in private, they were like, dude, if this continues, beginning of next year, I will end my content creator career. It's like, whoa, whoa. Then again, there were actually quite a bit of people. There were actually quite a bit of people this year who made it very clear that their content creator career is going downhill. And I think one of the reasons for it is that the whole content creation industry is becoming more ordered, especially on Twitch. Like, Twitch is not getting new people anymore. Twitch is actually losing viewers. And the people who are already on the platform have basically settled in. They have settled in with their content creators, or when a new game is coming out, which they're really looking forward to, that is your only chance to basically make a splash. Right? And so the whole content creation area has been pretty rough in 2022. Yep. So what's your plan for next year then, Mo? Well, as I said, my two main channels I have, which is this one and the React channel, will be the carrying weight. And especially for the React channel, I want to sit down and really put some quality in it. I really want to do that. And I will take the time I have now, the 2 weeks, to just try to put some quality in there. Because even though tons of people are looking for React videos, thumbnails are absolutely paramount to draw people in. And I really have to get better at it. The 2 weeks of not streaming I will utilize to just learn to get better at thumbnails. Like, I am there. Like, I have the feeling that I'm sometimes have the right thumbnails and do it right, but it's still not where it should be. Like, there is like the last push I have to do to really get my thumbnail game up to the point where I think it has some quality to it. I'm not saying it's good, but quality to it, and I'm thinking I'm getting closer to that. That's very important for my React videos. Whereas for my guide videos I'm doing, SEO is very important. SEO is very important, I have realized. But again, like, those are the two main channels, and I really want to plan out for it. I really want to make it stick. And again, I see quite a bit of growing potential for the React channel. So we'll definitely focus on that as well. And then let's talk about the live stream. Because even though YouTube had a pretty good going at the beginning of the year when it came to live streaming, it failed later on. Like, it slowed down in the second half quite a bit. Yep. Let's talk about what YouTube has planned. Yes. Let's talk about that. So YouTube had an AMA yesterday, and those are the updates which are coming in an early time next year. So the first thing they will do is YouTube is actively working on bridging the short form and long form algorithms. So if someone watches your short, they're more likely to be recommended your long form content too. And I think that's very important, and that means for me, I have to create more short content. And by the way, YouTube, you better make it easier for me to create shorts on my desktop. That I still have to use my phone for this is just annoying. It sucks. Stop forcing me to use my phone for that. Just stop. Okay, cool. But yeah, I definitely have to do more shorts. I have to do more shorts from like my reaction videos, and I have to plan that better out. I really have to plan that better out. But right now it's a planning issue. It's a planning issue. The next thing, YouTube also says that channels uploading both shorts and long form are seeing better overall watch time and subscriber growth compared to channels that only post long form, which makes kind of sense. This is a big YouTube streaming update they also announced. They make it easier to find live content on the platform. There are big updates coming in 2023, and people complain that it is too hard to find streams on YouTube. And this is what they want to fix, and they want to fix the YouTube interface. I mean, we have been talking about this for quite some time. This was one of my biggest complaints, actually everyone's biggest complaint. And I said it this year, one of the reasons why I was moving to YouTube was also that I have seen some stuff of what YouTube is planning. I basically saw some leaks. And it seems like this is still on track. And if they're really pushing for those changes in the interface and make YouTube streams more prevalent and also push more YouTube streams through the algorithm on the people, YouTube is out for Twitch's blood. I know this sounds very aggressive and very grandeur, but I really mean it. Like, YouTube got a warning shot last year when they realized that a lot of advertisers were leaving, or not necessarily leaving, but were taking away money. Right? They were taking a lot of money, and YouTube was, of course, asking, where do you take that money? Like, normally you pay us hundreds of millions. Now it's not even half of it. What's going on there? And apparently a lot of advertisers just told YouTube straight up, yeah, we are going to Twitch. We are sorry, YouTube, but we are going to Twitch. Like, it is easier to just put ads on there, to put more ads on it. People cannot really block it most of the time. Like, Twitch for live advertisement is such a better platform. You suck. Oh gosh. Lemons, don't do that to me. Please don't. Please don't. Like, please don't do this to me. Well, the good thing is that the next 2 weeks I'm not streaming. Gotcha. You will not see me till the beginning of next year. So you can't do shit to me, Lemons. Yeah. I sent you email. Shit. You bastard. You bastard. No, man, I wish you by the way, I wish you the best of luck with your move, man. Don't forget anything. Don't go crazy. Be safe. But yeah, man, I wish you best of luck tomorrow or over the weekend and with the moving and all that. I know moving can be an experience, and I don't mean a great one. So best of luck, man. Best of luck. But yeah, so going back to the YouTube streaming, like YouTube has lost a lot of money to Twitch, and they're changing this. I think one of the big things, which will probably also help a lot of YouTubers, is if you have missed it, starting next year. And I know that a lot of people don't know about this, but starting next year, every Chromium-based browser will not support adblock anymore. This is not a joke. This is what will happen next year. If you are using anything with Chromium in it, Edge, Chrome, Opera GX, you will not have adblock anymore. Wait, what? Yeah. Because Google has enough of ad blocking. And basically the creators of ad blockers have been now sitting here for the last 9 months. I think they knew this much earlier, but then there is a beta version, right? There is a beta version of the non-ad block version of Chromium already available. So of course all the ad blocker companies immediately jumped onto this, and for the last 9 months they said, dude, we are out. We try to fix this, but it seems like they've completely locked us out. We don't have a way right now to circumvent this. And when this version is going live, adblocks on Chromium-based browsers is dead. So, yeah, get your Firefox on. I like to explore the internet raw. Red flag, man. That is a red flag for a lot of other things in life. Just saying. I still need to try Edge. Hey, I'm using Edge for 2 years now, and amazing browser. I love Edge. And the cool thing is you can just take all your Chrome stuff basically over to Edge. Like, makes the change super easy. They're asking you like, hey, we realized you have used Chrome before. Do you want to take all your thumbnails, passwords, websites you have searched, search history, yay, and all that stuff over here to Edge? And then you say yes, and then you're good to go. Like, it's a better browser in my opinion, but hey, that's me. But yeah, just as I said, prepare your butts for next year that ad blocks. If you don't have a Firefox, then, or Safari, holy shit, you're screwed. Yep. YouTube has also an announcement regarding reposting content on Shorts that they don't own. This will negatively impact their ability to monetize. Examples being unedited clips from movies, TV shows, etc., or posting other creators' content. Especially the posting other creators' content became more and more an issue. There is actually quite a bit of Twitch streamers, big Twitch streamers, who have been saying, do something about this. And YouTube's reaction has been, you know, it was basically their reaction. If you're wondering what I mean, there are tons of YouTube channels out there which are just uploading the big Twitch streamers, their clips, their content, and they're making money from that. And they're getting tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of views, which is of course a huge issue for the official channels from those Twitch creators here on YouTube. So they are like, YouTube, I would like to get that money because that is my content. And again, YouTube's reaction is, so not great, you know. YouTube is also working on a fix for the spam issues in live chats, porn content. We had two of them today. I think, which I had all ready to ban. They're apparently working on that. Well, that would be nice if my community is not told where they can find some cheap girls, because let's be honest here, the only hottie they are allowed to watch and give money to is me. Yeah. What are you laughing at? Stop laughing. Stop laughing. Stop it. That wasn't a joke. Next news. YouTube also said that they will change how the 3 notifications per day for subscribers on the channel will change. As you might not know because you're not necessarily a YouTube creator, but if you uploaded more than 3 videos per day, YouTube would not send out another notification for that day. And well, doesn't really matter for me because nobody is clicking my notifications anyways, apparently. But now when you are uploading a short, it won't count toward your daily notification limit. Also, it will not count to, in general, video content. Like the algorithm was always a little bit pissy if you were uploading too many videos per day, and the algorithm was like, whoa, that's spam. Let's simmer that down a bit, right? And the algorithm was less promoting your content. Now YouTube Shorts will not count into that anymore, which is good. Because let's say you have 2 videos per day, right? One is a stream, one is a normal video. And then you are having some really fun moments of that stream or even of that video. You're putting them into 3 shorts and YouTube is like, whoa, that was 5 videos that day. Whoa, like, no, that's spam. Don't do it. Right. And they will not do that anymore. Cool. Also, this is going out for all the moderators. YouTube is now testing a new moderator role for streamers. And you will be able to see chatters' previous actions, aka chat history, previous timeouts, and notes for other mods to make. Let's be real here. Moderator tools have been so, right? I think we can all agree on that when it comes to moderator tools. YouTube is pretty bad, pretty rudimentary. Like, moderators cannot even create clips, right? You still cannot create clips or shorts, right? Do you see like a clip function or anything? I don't think so. Yeah, I see it with some other bigger YouTube streamers. What they're basically doing is they're telling their moderators like which timestamp it is and something like that. It's like, come on, man. Come on, man. It's like, ugh. Really unfortunate. So, yeah. But it seems like YouTube is still having some plans for next year. And as I said before, that is good. They need it. They have waited far too long. Apparently, switching out the boss at the top of YouTube gaming has really helped wonders. Surprise, surprise. And now they actually have some plans, and they need them. Not for Facebook gaming. As I said, I assume that Facebook gaming starting next year will be dead. Like dead, pretty much. But Trovo, I mean, I said it before and I say it again, Trovo in itself was a really cool platform, but it was going in the wrong direction. And it was just focusing on things which just didn't help. Right. It just didn't help. And that is so unfortunate. Yeah, like the mobile focus was pretty bad. And yeah, they were pushing like a lot of stuff which didn't really. And also non-English speakers. I mean, look at this. Like, just to put this into perspective, this is what happened when Twitch and other channels were going pretty hard on like Russian communities. This is The Witcher 3 right now on Trovo. Anything you are noticing in particular? Anything in particular you might be noticing? No? Привет. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against Russian streamers. Nah. Don't have a problem with that. The problem is that if you are trying to be a non-Russian streamer, the Brazilians, they're not playing Witcher. They're probably playing mobile right now. I mean, look at that. World of Tanks. It's not even called World of Tanks. It's, whoa. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. Trovo also was now starting to be cool with this, right? Yeah. It's like, yeah, no. I'm sorry, Trovo. Like, and the Brazilians are all playing Call of Duty Mobile. As an English streamer, it's unfortunately like that game. It's all Russian now. And for me, doesn't help. Russian fishing. Lineage 2, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. World of Tanks Blitz. Casino, great. Nah. I'm glad that I made a jump off of Trovo. I should have done it sooner, but I gave it a good swirl. It had promise. Like you cannot really foresee where it's going, right? So it had a lot of promise. But as I said, there are no real, like a lot of other streaming websites, like Facebook gaming is dying. Trovo, then the new gambling website. Like nobody cares for the gambling website. So yeah. Yeah. It's like we will probably dump down to YouTube and Twitch. Which is really unfortunate. That's really, really unfortunate. Really is. And yeah. Really, really unfortunate. Like Mixer should have never died. It's one of the things I would definitely not forgive Microsoft. That's for sure. Yep. But then again, Microsoft shows when it comes to utilizing video and all that, they're pretty bad. I mean, look how they were a no-show at the Game Awards this year. Like, it's absolutely flabbergasting how they completely missed out on the Game Awards, which was like the show they could have used for some products, and they were an absolute no-show. Now there are rumors that they're apparently working on a like Nintendo Direct thing, but I will be honest, I believe it when I see it, because Microsoft and Xbox has just shown in the last few years that they just don't know how to utilize online marketing sometimes. The Twitter play is good, but that's it. And that Twitter play is only good because of Steineken, which they did get from Mixer. So yay. Yay. Yeah. But folks, with that said, thank you so much for watching me in 2022, for giving me your support, and most importantly, your time, because time is one of the precious currencies we have, and you can never have enough of it. And so that you actually spend a little bit of time here, no matter in which quantity, I appreciate a lot. Yep, I appreciate a lot. Thank you for that. And also thank you for all the people who have been supporting me with subs, tips, giggity, and other monetary helps. Thank you very much for all the people who have supported me in whatever quantity for the new GPU. Like, that was definitely one of my darkest hours when it came to content creation, especially huge shout out to Fogbound Turtle, who just rolling up and be like, here's a 3080. Like, go create more content. Like, thank you. Like, thank you very much for that, especially because like, I know Fogborn Turtle. I have been knowing him for years now through the chat, right? But the reality is we don't really have like the connection. I wouldn't say that. So that somebody is just, I would go so far to say at this point to say like nearly a random person is coming to me and is just offering that. Like, blows my mind. It absolutely is blowing my mind. Aw, thank you for those nice words. Besides of lemons. Lemons, you were a dick. You're the worst. No, like, thank you everyone who has been watching here, who has been commenting here, who has me kept sane and in check. Like, I can say I have a wonderful community. And I'm like 2023 is really the year where I want to turn this around. Where I now will take my 2 weeks break. I will not return tomorrow because, wow, the drugs are slowly wearing off. And the slightly mind-shattering pain is also coming back. So, like I will not have the strength to stream tomorrow. I don't think so. I don't think I will recover in just a day. This is just the beginning of the cold, and I don't think I will have the power for that. So yeah, this is how I begin my vacation, with a fat cold just striking me down like the peasant I am. So yay. Thanks for that. And the worst part is my girlfriend is even hit worse by it. Like, he's also she oh god, she is also working with kids, right? So yeah, guess how she feels and what she is going through right now with her cold. Like, she has some good old mixed kids cold in the normal adult cold mixed together. It's yeah, don't wanna be in her shoes right now. It's rough. No, like, seriously, folks, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being part of the community. Thank you for helping me out with comments, like, especially comments. You, like, I know I'm a lurker myself, right? I like to lurk, but oh god, I don't wanna drift into the into the Game Awards speech. You know what I mean? I don't want to drift into that. But no, like, having comments in the chat or having not comments is, it really makes a huge difference. The biggest one of all. The biggest one. Like, I think my stream or my streams are so much better when there's commentary in the chat. It's, you know, it feels like you were actually entertaining people. And I know you have better things to do. Or you have things to do, not necessarily better things, but you have things to do, right? Not everybody has the time to just chat the whole time or wants to chat the whole time. I totally get that, and I would never request that or be like, man, you have to talk more, people. No, you do here in the channel whatever you want. Besides, if you are lemons, then you don't. You can do whatever you want as long as you're not lemons. That's a very, very important distinction I have to make here. But just thank you. Thank you. Seriously. Thank you. And next year, I will definitely give my best. Even more so than I did this year. I will come back with some better plans. I know those plans will probably fall apart in the first week after I come back from streaming, because reality is like, what are you trying to do? What? Right. But I think the will is there. Execution is what is missing. Execution is what is missing. And I think that is what I can plan out. And then keeping that up. One last announcement. This is actually one of my plans, and actually talking about execution and all that. Starting on Monday, when I return on January 2nd, we will start at 8 a.m. ET. What? Mo, you're already starting at 8 a.m. ET. That is correct. But I have been very liberal with the 8 a.m. ET. I've been very liberal with that starting time. And I don't want that anymore. I want to go back to like at 2 p.m. my time, this stream goes live. It will have an intro, and then we're doing our thing, instead of always like 10 minutes later, 5 minutes later, 15 minutes later, or something like that. Like, no. I think it's also disrespectful to your time and for the people who are watching in the morning. And this is one of the things I never wanted to have established or having to have happen to my channel. So, Monday, 2nd of January, 8 a.m, spot on, this stream will go live, and we will keep it that way. Yep. That is one of my New Year resolutions, and we will do that. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching. I will now go on sick leave and then going into my vacation. Yay. Keep in mind, there will be YouTube videos. There will be reaction videos. If you haven't subscribed to my other channel yet, you should. It is youtube.com/@ChaosMole Reacts. That is the YouTube channel where you can find me. You will also find the newest Hogwarts Legacy reaction on there. And there would be definitely more in the foreseeable future. But there will be react videos on that channel. And there will be, of course, some guide videos for Warhammer 40k Darktide on my main channel. I might actually play some Darktide. By the way, if you see me playing Darktide, just message me if you want to join in. I don't mind. I might actually just announce in the Discord if I'm jumping into the round, and if people want to join me, why not? But yeah, don't be a stranger, is what I want to say. And I might even stream something in between if I feel like that way, but don't count on it. I have so many things to do, and I have so many games to play. I want to finish Death Stranding. Yes, I will finish that off stream, because I would never finish it on stream. I might play another round of Hades. I'm still thinking about finishing up Cyberpunk. So many things I want to do. Yeah. I want to do that. So, with that said, have wonderful holidays. I hope you can relax yourself a little bit and take a deep breath. I know 2022 was hard on a lot of people, so I hope you can calm a bit down, and then I wish you a wonderful new happy year, and I will be back on January 2nd at 8 a.m. ET. Again, thank you so much for your support, and thank you so much for all the kind words. I really do appreciate that. Have a good one, and most importantly, stay safe, please. Till then, bye-bye. Ka-ching! Okay, that was a bad idea. Love you.